What time is that?
Happy allergy season, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, I'm the Primatine Miss Kid. Hold on.
Yeah, that's a great point. It hasn't hit me yet so far this
It's
year.
about
So
the last couple of days, and my voice is a little groggy as a result. So
What's the
hopefully
weather supposed to be like tomorrow? Where you guys are today?
26 and snow. No. 82.
We got 90 down here.
Really? No
Yeah.
way. Oh my gosh.
Wow. It looks like you got sun. Your windows are like blasting.
Well,
Yeah.
look at this. Look at this. You see that tan line?
Ooh. Look at you, Bruce.
Yeah. Trying to represent for everybody.
Somebody's been outside.
Yeah, really.
I'm gonna have an interesting summer. I have to be careful after what I just had happen. So I think
Yeah, really.
Of
I think I'm
course.
gonna buy a cape, like a kid's superhero cape, so it covers my back, but I can still get sun everywhere else.
Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Larson in the remix in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Good God.
Get one of those caps that has like a thing that goes back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
Just
idea.
covers your
I'd have
neck.
to go all the way down to my waist. But
Oh well. All right.
yeah, it's rough being with such Norwegian, Scandinavian genetics. I'm a fire hazard. I go outside and burst into flames.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Michael Jackson, Richard Pryor, take your pick.
Yeah.
So we're a little delayed on this. We tried like 4 times to do this. Like, what was it? Last Saturday, then Monday, then Tuesday, then today. So
That's
Traffic. I always do the excuse traffic. So that's my excuse.
That's
The
what made us late. Yeah.
traffic of adult life. Yes.
Right. Too busy
So-
adulting.
Let's just quickly get the old news out of the way. Like, it's now been, what I'm thinking about, almost 2 weeks, right? 13
Yeah.
days, 12 days.
Yeah.
Where are we here? Hang on, give me a second. See that? I'm new at this. There we go. How'd you guys do on your brackets?
I think the three of us should go national. You guys got the men's, I got the women's.
There you go. That's right.
Edson and I both had the champion. I had the wrong opponent in the game. Did you have? You did. Did you have?
I actually took a picture of. I actually had Duke originally, and then I crossed it out and put Houston on there. So
Really?
last minute before I was like,
Wow.
oh, for some I just, and that had more to do with like not having a high personal thing about Duke, but so I just it was nothing about having any kind of
You just got a vibe.
yeah, just not
And
any
usually
kind of
they say,
knowledge or anything.
usually when you scribble it out and go with your second, that's
It's the wrong thing. And I thought I did.
Right.
I'm like, Duke is killing everybody on this tournament. And I'm like, that was such a stupid thing to do. They're going to go straight to the finals. But, well, I guess it worked out.
That Cooper flag's a monster. But you and I were talking, and I don't want to bore the audience with 2-week-old NCAA, but we got to talk about Houston's defense.
Yeah.
And how they suffocated Duke in the second half of the second half. That game was crazy.
Right.
And then to go on an 11-1 run in the last 2 minutes to close out the game. That was nuts. I mean, they duked Duke. That's what Duke does to other people.
Yeah. I mean, Duke, I was like shocked at the stat that Duke didn't score like in the last, other than free throws, didn't score in the last 10 minutes of that game. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, especially in college basketball.
Yeah, especially with a team like that. It was just, to me, it was glorious to watch. Because I'm tired of them doing that to everybody else. So yeah, and then Florida, I think they won just about every single game in the tournament the same way.
Yeah, they could have been eliminated like five rounds before that.
And
Right.
It started in the second round against the Huskies, against UConn.
Yeah, they barely got by
Had
that.
the lead until there was about 2.5 minutes to go, right? And it's like Florida, every game they kept doing that. They were losing, and then they'd come back at the end and win by 3 or 5 or 7. It was just It was, and that's how they won the last game
Yeah,
too.
like lulling the opponent down and then coming up and then taking it. Oh,
It was
Okay, I'm gonna have my old moment of the first part of the morning. So Edson, get ready.
uh-oh.
I was watching his videotape of it was made in Keith, you'll love this. So it was like one camera, and it was like one of the first videotapes of a basketball game in 1966. The Celtics were playing the old, well, who was it? Cincinnati Royals in Game 5. It's called The Final Game. It was done it was like really, really bad. But the main emphasis was the Celtics would play a defense that it was like panicked. It was like almost a zone. It would be mismatching, switching every player. But at the end of the day, the guy would try to go down the lane, and Bill Russell was like, "Are you serious?
you know, you don't go to Bill Russell.
It's like, this is my house." So the thing is, though, Cincinnati was up by 5 with 5 minutes left, and Russell was talking to someone on the free throw lane. He said, "You're getting tired. You're getting really tired. You're tired of doing this. Here we come." And the guy's like, "No, man, no, we're good." So Cincinnati's up by 3, and in the blink of an eye, Boston gets up by 10. They're like, "How did that happen?" Because they said the suffocating defense. The defense, because they were switching off on people, and Russell was just staying there like in the middle of the clogging the lane, blocking everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that, I'm like, my father used to talk about it. Now I watch it on video. I'm like, that defense was, and that's the blue point. I mean, and the Celtics would do a fast break. They run up and down the court, get back on defense, switch up, match up, switch up. And if you can do that in the last couple of minutes of a game, you will win every time.
The Detroit Pistons used a similar model in the late 80s. I remember they had that suffocating defense, and they would do that rotation. They'd quickly rotate and switch off.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have much of a fast break game.
Right.
Which is why my personal worst or biggest disappointment of the tournament, talk about old news, is St. John's, who does have that suffocating defense.
Yes.
Couldn't get past the second round, so
they couldn't put the ball in the ocean in that game. And their best scorer, what was he, like 3 for 19?
Oh yeah, and he had big foul trouble very early on.
Yeah,
was out most of that game, or at least a half of that game. So
my last thought on this is it was heartbreaking at the end of the game that Houston couldn't even get a shot off. Like they didn't even have a chance. Like that inbound went haywire. They turned it over, and yeah, it's like you at least give them. You want to have at least a final shot in a game like that. But so much for that. Bruce called this one.
Oh yeah, and that was like, wow.
UConn played old school UConn.
What did they double them up on that final? Wow, jeez.
They 23 points, something like that, right? Wasn't it?
80. I think it was 84-59 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
82-59. So yeah, that's 23 points if my high school math works. Yeah, that's. It was like that for them pretty much the whole way this year.
And this reminds me of how when they first started their what was like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, they used to just blow everybody out.
Yeah, that's what it really felt like, old school UConn. And I think what was the closest game was USC, I think, and they beat them by 14. Like it just wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of the men's last year. Didn't they do that to almost everybody as well?
That's right. The men, the last 2 years, the men were unbelievable. Yeah. And they'll be back. The UConn men will be back. They picked up a few good recruits or transfer students and recruits. They got 3 All-Americans in recruit, and then he's got 2 transfers coming in. So they'll be okay. And they didn't really lose anybody. They lost Samson Johnson and Hassan Diarra. That's it. So. But bravo, Bruce. Good call.
Thank you.
That's the 12th title now for the Husky ladies.
Jeez.
Since 1994.
That's the stat of the day.
Yeah. Well, then there's 6 on the men's side. So that's 18 total in the last 30 years, basically.
Wow.
That's a lot for one school. That's a lot. So good.
And I remember the days of, what was his name? They used to play in the field house, and Don Permo was the coach. I remember watching it. It was like, there's no one here. It's like you could hear the basketball all the way around.
That's when their best
now,
player was Spider Ursery.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Remember Spider?
Oh my gosh.
No. Only Spider. I remember Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Then they got the whole thing started with Cliff Robinson. When they got Cliff,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
that's when they got good enough to qualify for the NIT, the not in tournament.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a big deal. Like they were actually in a national tournament somewhere. And then from there, Calhoun just built it into what it is now. So
Yep.
And we were talking last time, Bruce. Remember we hung up, and I think the next morning I watched Requiem for the Big East.
Oh.
I have to watch it. I've got a book waiting for me at the library. I have to go pick up. It's called All About the Big East, the Glory Days of the Big East.
The glory days indeed.
Oh my gosh, it was big because that was if you remember correctly, ESPN coined a phrase called Big Monday.
Monday.
And it was like it was a prereq if you wanted to watch a good basketball game.
Yeah, it was crazy because they took so many chances just forming the conference because they wanted respect in the Northeast as basketball schools, and they went to ESPN, which at the time had just started. It was operating out of a trailer on the side of the road. I'll never forget. There was like a couple satellite dishes in a trailer. Then they built building 1, and now what's it got? Like 20 buildings. They took over half the city of Bristol. But it's stories like that are always fun when you see these humble beginnings and these guys who rolled the dice and believed in themselves enough to not be deterred, and turned it into. It might have been the best basketball conference.
It was the most exciting because I was in Connecticut at the time. It's like sitting with my grandfather. It was like we're watching these games. Like, man, these guys are.
Well, 4 years into its existence, you get Georgetown Villanova in the NCAA tournament final.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You get 2 Big East teams 4 years into the existence of the conference. So they played that tough, gritty,
right.
And the documentary kind of focuses mostly on Patrick Ewing, and Patrick Ewing was the first big superstar recruit that came into the conference. And Chris Mullen at the time and a couple other ones, but Patrick Ewing was the one who broke it open.
I got one for you. He didn't have much of a pro career. Dwayne the Pearl Washington.
Yeah. Oh, he's featured a lot in that too. Syracuse.
He was a great point guard. He would just go.
Wayne.
Oh my!
And then Ed Pinkney was in Providence, so they had those 4 big names that kind of got the thing moving forward. And of course, the big focus of the documentary is the coaches were bigger celebrities than the players.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Raleigh. What was his name? Louis Carnesecca's sweater. The sweater.
There's a great bit in there where. And they all loved each other. That was great. And
they were all tight.
Where John Thompson came to one of the games wearing the same sweater.
Right. I remember that. That was like, wow. Then you have they're tight. Then you have something like Calipari and Cheney, that press conference when they wanted to beat the hell out of each other.
That's right. I remember that. That's when he was.
I just got blasted by the commission saying I was playing this. I'll kill you. I'm like, Cheney, calm down, dude. Today's medicine is not kicking in that hard.
Those were good days for sure.
Yes.
Well, we'll see. I ended up with an 87% on my bracket.
Wow,
I ended up.
I didn't look at my numbers.
585th overall, 585,000th overall.
Hey,
I got it under 1 million.
That's right.
I didn't come in millionth place. You know what? For a year where I just didn't follow it that closely.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So let's get into baseball. It's baseball season. 2 weeks in.
Yeah, we're about 1 inning into the season. It's about
Yeah.
18 games per
It's like,
inning.
yeah, bottom of the first. Yeah.
Right. The
Maybe
pitch
top.
clock is moving slow.
Yeah.
There's been some stories already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's go
But-
around the horn. Bruce, what's a big story for you so far?
Well, I'm just impressed by I can't remember his name, but the Dodgers picked up a big name pitcher from Japan, Yamamoto or something like that. And he is just like dominating the league right now. He is really, really good. And he pitched a shutout last night. The Dodgers won 3-0 over Texas, I think it was. He's really, really good. And I'm just surprised. Another thing is the Orioles. I'm surprised at Atlanta.
I know.
Oh yeah, that's my biggest disappointment so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. There they are.
I mean, you can't get a really horrible start, and it takes a while to make it back. But it's obviously very, very early. They can easily come back,
But they were 1-8 at one point.
yeah.
Now they're 6-13. They're 5-5 in their last 10. But yeah, I was shocked at the Braves too. And they weren't losing. They were losing. I was watching one game against Philadelphia. They were winning 5-0, and then they gave it away. They lost in a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth. And I'm like, that's when they were at the height of their struggles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my goodness. I mean, what is wrong with this team? Because they're loaded top to bottom. I don't get it. This I got to look it up. I forgot who said this. But there's a famous quote that you can't win a pennant in April, but you can lose one.
That's a great point.
A great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And when you've got the Mets and the Phillies in that division, you can't afford to fall behind like this.
Yeah, the Met. I mean, like I said, long season, but the Mets look scary because Soto has done absolutely nothing so far this season, and yet they're still doing great. So imagine if they continue this way, and he eventually goes back to his old form. Oh my god!
They got some bats in that lineup with Lindor, and they still have Pete Alonso, and they're scary. The Phillies, of course, are weird to me because the Phillies are they're like the Buffalo Bills to me.
Yeah.
Like they've got all this talent and all this promise the last couple of years. Like this is the year, and then they stub their toe on the way every single time. It's weird.
Yeah,
but
especially that year when they were up 3-1 to Arizona, and I'm like, okay, I love Arizona, but they have no chance, and they were going home for the last 2 games. Right. If you watch a videotape of the fans leaving Citizens Bank Park, that was brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, Philly fans don't take news like that.
No. And I am a little surprised. The Dodgers have a competition there. I didn't think they would have a competition all season long, but
San Diego is
off. San Diego.
They are off to
San Francisco, to be fair.
And yeah.
I mean, everyone in that division except for what we all call the last place Colorado Rockies.
They'll come back. Colorado's it's all part of the plan.
Can we pause on Colorado for a second? Okay. I got to bring this up. So as you know, they're a farm club. They're AA farm clubs here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goats. This happened this past week. Zach Veen, you're going to the show. Veen becomes the second player this week and the 70th yard goat overall. This team is 9 years old. 70 player call-ups in 9 years.
Wow.
Okay. You called up 70 guys. That's just from the AA club. Never mind the AAA club. They're 3-15. They've been awful for the decade that the yard goats have been here. What is wrong with their development system? How do you call up that many guys? I mean, you're going to miss on some of them. Let's face it. That's 70 prospects.
But not 70. Geez.
70 prospects in less than 10 years, and you're still the armpit of baseball. You're doing something wrong organizationally from top to bottom. There's something wrong. And I think a lot of it is they're calling these guys up premature because they have these guys aren't ready to go. They're half baked. They're going straight from AA straight up, which they've done that a lot. They're skipping AAA. This organization is a travesty, man. If I was the owner, I would shit can management from top to bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
There's-
I just think you were talking about Colorado, reminded me of what the late great Vince Scully said about playing baseball in Colorado in that stadium. He said you don't need a scorecard, you need an accountant. Because
yeah.
that ball,
Yeah.
because back in the day, it was like the ball was like, it's a long gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember they were putting him in the humidor to try to help that.
Jeez.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, the upside is if you live in the Connecticut area, you get to see guys who are definitely going to the show.
Yeah, there you go.
And you can see it as soon as they get a decent player, he's gone. But I mean, there's right. I put them on. Then the other night, I put the game on, and 8 of the 9 starters in the field were ex-yard goats
Wow.
that I'd seen either last year or the year before.
That's crazy.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. No, they're in a lot of trouble. The rest of the teams in that division
Yeah, they're very competitive.
fun to watch. Every single one of them is fun to watch.
Yeah, that's probably the best division in baseball, other than Colorado.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati, I think, is exactly where I thought it would be, with Francona using whatever
Oh my gosh.
talent that they have.
Yeah.
Who's that guy on Cincinnati that is like faster than air?
Oh gosh.
Billy Hamilton.
No. De La Cruz or something like that. What's his name?
Ellie De La Cruz. Billy Hamilton was fast as lightning. He just couldn't hit the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz. He's the clone. So the Pirates have O'Neill Cruz, and Cincinnati has Ellie De La Cruz. They're almost like they look.
Oh, okay.
They're almost identical. They're 6'7". They're like they're built the same tools. However, one's progressing faster than the other. Let me give you a guess as to which one it is.
I'm waiting for the Jeopardy theme music. Hold on.
Not the guy in black and gold.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. The Pirates, they're just a mess. Cincinnati, it's funny because they were just as bottom feedery. If that is that a term, bottom feeder?
It is now.
It is.
Like a week and a half ago, it was the Pirates and the Reds were had the same record pretty much, and they had a 3-game series against each other. Guess what happened? The Reds swept them.
The Reds must have swept them. Yeah,
they swept them. Yeah, the Pirates scored all of 4 runs in 3 games. They're so good. And you can see the difference. You could see the difference just in the field manager. That you could take both ball clubs have this hodgepodge of talent and a lot of young prospects. And one guy is harnessing and focusing that talent, and they're fundamentally sound, and the other team is not.
Yep.
And that's why one's in last place, and one is 7-3 in their last 10, climbing up the standings. And that's a division, they might be able to win because nobody's very good.
Right.
Bring back Danny Martaw.
Bring back Danny. Yes, or Chuck Tanner.
Right.
Let's go to the AL. Surprise, surprise, the Torpedo Bats are in first.
Yep. And
I
know Judge is good, but I didn't think he'd be batting 400 with Soto gone from the lineup. I thought he would just be walking all season long, but he's getting good pitches.
Well, I think what's helping is Goldschmidt hasn't.
Oh, that's true.
He hasn't hit the wall yet. I mean, this guy. How old's Goldschmidt? 40?
Oh gosh, yeah. Can't
But
believe
he's actually, looking pretty good still. So that helps because there's still a bat behind him.
Yep. Okay.
And also, what's his face is tearing the cover off the ball. Jazz Chisholm.
Yep.
Yeah. What's he got? Like 6 home runs with his torpedo bat? We should discuss the torpedo bat when we're done with the standings. I have a few thoughts on that.
Okay.
Baltimore is playing very inconsistent baseball. Very surprising.
Toronto and Baltimore to me have swapped places. I don't understand this.
Yeah, Toronto. You're right.
I thought they'd struggle a little bit like last year, And Tampa, I thought would be a little more competitive, I guess, to this point, but it's a long season.
Right.
It really is.
That's the thing. It's like you can't.
This is another division where everybody's good. I think there's only like 2 potential division winners in this division, but everybody's good. Detroit.
Yep. Picking up right where they left off.
Yeah. Yeah. Cleveland's had a good run the last 10. Of course, they're playing the Pirates right now, so that always helps.
Yeah. I thought Kansas City would have been doing a little bit better, but like you said, still early.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, they're a small market team and they have,
Yeah.
It's funny. I was watching them the other day. Sal Perez came up and I love Sal Perez, but you're wondering, like, is this the end for him? I mean, he's getting up there, but Bobby Witt Jr. is amazing. He's an amazing player.
Mhm.
Kansas City's probably going to land right where they are.
Yeah.
The Twins are a little disappointing to me too. But again, long season.
And Chicago's playing right up to expectations.
Yes,
Okay.
they are. Much like the
Rockies.
Rockies. Yep.
Should we make a prediction? Who ends up with more losses? The White Sox, the Pirates, or the Rockies?
I think the White Sox, but
I'll take the White Sox.
I'm going to take Colorado on that.
Okay.
Okay.
The Rockies are bad. And then in the West, your Los Angeles Angels are shocking me. I mean, they're 1 game over, but they've been so bad the last couple of years. And of course, this all hinges on Trout staying healthy as usual. And, there's a lot of factors there, but their roster's decent. I just don't understand why they've been so bad. I guess their pitching's terrible, but see, I don't want them to get good because when they're bad, tickets are so cheap when I'm out there.
Oh, good point. Get in there.
2 years ago, the Pirates were there and I was out there and I went to see 2 of the games and it cost me a grand total of like $20 total.
Oh,
and I sat like in the main section, behind first base. It was great.
Yeah,
So my daughter with the Ducks too. I'm like, we don't want the Ducks to get better because then the tickets get expensive.
that whole division looks like they're just all like jumbled in there so far.
Shock for me is the homeless, the vagabond nomad.
They just call them athletics and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I feel so bad for them. I really, really do. They can't call anything home.
It's like Sacramento and yeah, it's a long wait, and it's not I mean, it's a foregone conclusion they're going to end up in Las Vegas, but it's not official yet, so they could end up.
Why don't they go to SoFi?
Just
no. The SoFi reference has come through again.
A little too early for a SoFi reference, I guess.
If they move to SoFi, they'll be featured on Sunday Night Baseball.
That's right. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
until about like August, September.
They'll have a permanent camera crew at SoFi for any sport it needed.
That's right.
So
call. Let's talk about the torpedo bat for a second.
Yeah, so this is the first year that's been unveiled, right? I mean, I haven't heard about this before.
Apparently, like, there's been some limited use of it in the past, but this is the year that, like, one roster in particular, like every player but one said using this thing. My thought is it's absolutely cheating.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it yeah, okay.
The way the bat is designed is they took the sweet spot of the barrel and they move it to wherever the player's most like they look at analytics and they're like, oh, he keeps hitting the ball off the handle.
Oh,
they move the sweet spot way down on the bat. So now a guy who can't hit, instead of learning to hit or get out of the game because you're not good enough, now he is hitting home runs. The perfect example is Anthony Volpe. Volpe, it took him almost to halfway point in the season to have 4 home runs last year. His first 4 hits of this season were home runs.
Wow.
That is pretty crazy.
That is nuts.
He had 4 hits and they were all home runs. I mean, because they moved the sweet spot down to the middle of the bat because he usually hits it off the trademark and it's a routine pop up or fly out. So now with the barrel slid down, because if you look at the bat, it gets fat in the middle and then tapers.
Yeah.
Now he's hitting them out. And I heard a story. I forgot which team it was the other night. Guy was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, switched to a torpedo bat, and hit it out in his last at bat.
That's
I don't know much about the torpedo
Something
bats because we have the Nationals down here who no one cares about. But is it causing that much of a difference?
Yeah, I think
because I saw pictures of like Aaron Judge. It's like the ball would just jump off his bat.
He's not using it.
He's not using it though. That's the one thing you have against that theory. That he's
yeah, but he's always hit home runs like
right.
that.
No, I understand.
When you see the Chaz Chisholms and the
it's the ones that don't normally do, yeah.
Right, hitting home runs like crazy.
Are they more expensive?
No, and they're deemed legal because it's in the rule book the bat has to be a certain length, a certain circumference, blah blah blah, and with the barrel, it doesn't matter where they position the barrel; it's still legal. I think you're going to see it end up getting banned down the road. Clearly the pitchers won't be happy, I'm sure, after a while. And I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the jury's out. But to me, I had a friend who likes the Yankees, like defending it. And I said, look, if the Red Sox were doing it, you'd be freaking out, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, call a spade a spade. It's an unfair advantage to me. That's cheating.
But was this? I know you're saying a lot of the Yankee roster, but was this like a Yankee thing? Like it's an
this guy apparently the guy who developed it was on the Yankee staff until this year. He went to MIT. He's an analytics guy, and he figured that out.
Okay, but it is available for everybody, right?
Yeah. Well, he eventually got the bat makers to go with it and make the bats, and now they've widely adopted it in New York. He's now with the Marlins. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Okay.
But I think the bats are starting to, of course, teams like the Pirates won't use them like idiots. You can't hit it all. Like they should just go give them those. Remember those big bopper bats you get as a kid?
Yeah.
Like the barrel was like this big. Give them cricket bats or something because they're awful.
I had not to make this.
When Andrew McCutchen at age 39 is your best hitter. And not to knock Kutch, I love Kutch. He's
good. I've always liked him.
He's awesome. I love him to death. But and he actually is playing well and he's hitting well and he's actually playing the outfield this year because of injuries. But he should not be your best player.
Yeah. I just had this like instant flashback that I was at this convenience store, which I never go to. And I was wandering around, and in the corner somewhere is like this wiffle ball, but the wiffle ball bat with the ball on top of it is sold as a package. I'm like, instantly, I was back in my childhood. I was like, wow, they still have these?
Yeah,
I felt like buying them, like even though I'm not going to use them.
And I think you're going to see Major League Baseball allow these bats for a while because, much like they did in the late '90s with the steroid thing.
Oh yeah.
They like the home runs in the offense because it brought people to the game.
Yep. That'll bring people in.
Yeah. So it'll when they'll say something about it is when sacred records are threatened or broken.
Right. Mm-hmm. By some unknown, who not some unknown, but somebody who's been mid level for like 10 years and never did anything, and now all of a sudden is the top.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So
we'll see how where it goes from here. We'll keep track of this bat usage.
Yeah.
Well, since
Yamamoto
I came up with doing a little research. I came up with since we were delayed, I came up with 3 trivia questions for you guys.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That should be directed at Keith. I'm not good at this.
Yeah. Edson, these are easy. I think you should. You can talk to future Edson on this, so you can. You have a consultant.
No matter who, whether it's me or future Edson, none of us are good at like nostalgia baseball. We don't remember a lot from back then.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
First question: when Derek Jeter retired at his last game at Yankee Stadium, what also retired with him? Yankee Stadium. When was the last time you heard this?
This is the stadium itself, wasn't it?
No.
When Derek Jeter retired, No,
And
that's
his last game at Yankee Stadium. That's the key point.
right. 'Cause he was in the new stadium at that point.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Did
Yeah.
they retire his number on the same day?
No.
Oh,
Mm.
I don't know.
Ooh. What the hell? What is? Crap. What did they?
And the thing is, though, we've talked about this person.
We've talked about this person.
Like recently?
Yeah, during the year, we just we were talking about great voices. Okay, that's your final clue.
Oh.
Bob Shepard.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I knew I wasn't going to be good at this, but okay.
Yeah, because that was the last time you heard Bob Shepard's voice.
Shepard's voice. The great Bob Shepard.
Now batting
Number
Edson
2.
and his alter ego. Edson and his alter ego.
He was good.
Okay, number 2. Okay, number 2. What baseball personality was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he worked for 34 years after that?
Vin Scully.
That's right.
Wow. Good job.
And the final one, what do the Baltimore Colts and Indianapolis Colts have in common regarding the Super Bowl?
All right. Baltimore Colts won in Super Bowl 5 on that last minute kick. Colts didn't win like that. Indianapolis. Oh, are they both 1-1 in the Super Bowl?
No, that's not it.
Oh, I figured because the Colts lost to the Jets and then beat Dallas, and then the Colts lost to the Saints and then beat the Bears. That could be a correct answer, couldn't it?
But it's not the one. It's not that one.
Indianapolis.
Crappy owners. They both had crappy
No.
owners.
That would
be boy. I don't know.
No idea?
No.
All the games were played in Miami.
Oh, all 4 Super Bowls?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Super
Bowl 5. Yep. That's true.
5-30.
Yeah. And then the last 2. Remember the one against the Bears, it was raining.
Right. Because Prince did the halftime show.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is my miscellaneous trivia for today.
Those are good.
Yeah, those are good. I wouldn't even gotten that Prince did the halftime show.
Yeah, I remember
that was your question. I wouldn't even gotten that.
I'll never forget that.
Okay.
I heard that.
Edson, I'll rephrase the question. Edson, Super Bowl in the rain. Purple Rain. Who did that song?
Well, that one I would do, but that was a little bit too obvious. But yeah, that's what you'd have to do to get me to get something right.
I remember hearing a story that they told him, halftime was approaching, and they said, Prince, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be raining when you go out there. And he said, can it rain harder? Make it rain harder.
Yeah, that sounds like
Prince was amazing. I mean, it's sad when you realize how great musicians are after they pass away. Prince was.
I knew how great he was before that, but yeah, Prince was.
I didn't really.
Sorry, go ahead, Bruce.
No, go ahead, please.
No, you go.
No, you please.
I was just gonna say Prince is on my list of. There was a couple of artists that every time they came around, I was either not able to go, or I didn't have the money to go, and I was like, I'll catch them next time, and then they fucking died.
And then it's like there is no more next.
There is no next time. Yeah. So what were you gonna say?
I just realized. I mean, I didn't know he was that multi-talented with different instruments. I'm like, wow, he did this, he did that. There's a video I'll send to you guys of Prince at 11 years old being interviewed in Minneapolis during a teacher's strike. What his what he thought about it. I'll send it to you guys.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, he hell of a guitar player. Very underrated guitar player.
Oh, really?
Nobody talks about him. You know, you hear your Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen's, and whatnot. You never hear about him.
Right.
But he was great. So yeah, him, Tom Petty, and Huey Lewis were the three on my list that I was like, next year. Oops. And Huey's not dead, but he's deaf, so he had to retire. He lost his hearing, right?
Geez.
Well, I was fortunate enough. I was living in Connecticut. Some ladies at the office said, "We're going to a concert and we have an extra ticket. Do you want to go with us?" I'm like, I really don't want to see this person. I mean, I've heard bad. I mean, because he might be, I don't know, it might be a boring show. They said, "Come on, you can go with all these ladies." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go with you. All right, baby. Yeah, I'll stay with you." Elton John. I got to see Elton John. And I'm like, I'm seeing Elton John. This is crazy.
Yeah, I've seen him. He was. I went to the Billy Joel Elton John when they were the head-to-head tour. They called it.
Oh wow!
And it was a long night because Billy came out and did like 3 tunes, and then Elton came out and played a whole set. No, it was. I don't remember how it went, but then there was a warm-up 3 songs. Then Elton played a full set. Then Billy played a full set, and then they did 3 more Billy songs at the end together. It was awesome.
Jeez.
Piano Man being the last, but it was awesome to see them both in one night. That was.
I got to see with Mary. She and I saw Jackson Browne and James Taylor.
Oh,
that was a good show because I mean she adores Jackson Browne. Jackson Browne's gotten old, and but James Taylor, I always loved James Taylor. So it was a good show. It was like 3 songs, some together. Then they do a whole set separately. That was a good show.
Jackson Browne's very good. Jackson Browne would be one of those shows you go to and then you go, "Oh my God, I forgot about this one and this one and this one."
Oh,
like
yeah,
right.
How
many hits he had, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, yep. Good old Prince. So this happened too in our hiatus.
Oh,
That was 897.
Talking about that. Yep.
He actually scored against the Penguins the other night, and they gave him a gift after the Penguins fans gave him a standing ovation too.
Oh, good.
Oh, really? The Penguin fans? That's shocking.
Yeah. Yep. I know with the rivalry they've had over the years.
Well, Pittsburgh's not Philadelphia, so
yeah.
Philadelphia will probably throw pucks at him instead of giving them to him. Yes, us, you bastard.
They give him a party, right? A blanket party. Yeah. So yeah, he I honestly, when they started looking at what was he about 15, 20 goals out and they started to watch, I didn't think he'd make it this year.
Wow.
I honestly didn't. Much less blow past it in the regular season. Yeah, I mean, the guy's a prolific goal scorer and good on him. And he's he started out as like the punk of the league. I mean, a lot of people didn't like him.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He was just like
frat boy kind of jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he's since matured into an ambassador of the game and a good guy. So I don't think anybody was upset with this. I think 8-9 years ago, people would have been hating on this, but not anymore. And good on him. And what's great about this too is, when Gretzky set his record, it was pretty much a Canadian game with some U.S. players in it, and that was about it.
Yep.
It, not until the late 80s when they infused Russians, because of the what they call it. He came over here like he ran away from his country. What do they call that?
Oh, I think Detroit Red Wings did the same thing.
Oh yeah, he went to New Jersey. It was Fedorov, right? And was it Sergei Fedorov? I don't remember which one. But
yeah, because
anyway,
it was like 4 of them that went to Detroit. It was like a big deal.
Yeah, in the 90s. Yeah, that's where Fedorov.
Right.
Yeah.
Defect, you mean?
Tisov, was it? I don't remember. I can't keep them straight. But anyway,
We try to say he defected.
Defected, thank you. Defected from Russia in the 88. And it opened up the game. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
it just, now Czechoslovakians were coming in. Jaromir Jagr came from the Czech Republic. It became a global game. And now we have this kid from Russia setting the record. So that's pretty awesome. And Gretzky and his wife were in attendance.
Oh, wow.
And Mrs. Gretz brought a gift for Mrs. Ovechkin, because when Gretzky broke Gordie Howe's goal record, Colleen Howe had a gift for.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So they wanted to kind of pay it forward and keep it going. Wayne was gracious and classy as ever.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I play beer league hockey, and I also play, beer league softball and all this kind of stuff. But I got to say, there's a different thing with hockey players. There's like a different mutual respect for one another. There's a different kind of it's a family kind of a feel to it.
Mhm.
And I don't know I can't explain what it is, even at the, amateur levels, but it's there. It's different. All the guys who play on the ice rip your head off. Off the ice, brothers. It's just the weirdest thing, and I can't explain it. Where softball, if you hate the guy on the team, you hate him in the parking lot too, and you hate him,
Right.
It's just weird. I don't know what it is, but so yeah, it's great to see that, and that brings us to the postseason.
Well, my favorite thing about hockey, and I think I mentioned it to you, you could beat the hell out of each other for a 7-game series, like back in the day with the. Oh man, this is like the Nordiques and the Canadians would beat the hell out of each other for a 7-game series. But at the end of the series, do that line with all shaking hands, which I think is the classiest thing in sports. I really, really do.
I do too, and it's like a genuine. You see them stop and talk to each other and hug each other. And that's what I always loved about, at the end of a beer league softball game, we do that, but it's like nice game off the field. Hockey is different. We stop and talk and, hang out.
Yeah, they stop. Yeah.
Zamboni's coming around for the next game. We're still all talking, like,
yeah.
Get out of here, So that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's different. It's definitely different. So that brings us to the playoffs. And this is a weird year, because you've got a lot of the fan favorites, media darlings. They're not here. The Rangers, the Islanders, the Bruins, the Penguins. They're all out.
Oh yeah, how come Boston's not in here?
Oh,
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
Where is it? Let's explore that, shall we?
Oh right, they lost their captain. I forgot.
Man.
There we go. So here's part of the problem here, Edson, is that they landed. Look at this. They came in 9th place in the conference, behind the Penguins.
Wow.
The Penguins are awful, Bruce.
Well, I mean, if you're a Flyer fan, then even even worse than Boston. Speaking of Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. The team that kills me, Buffalo. They are every year they're right there. They aren't getting any better. They're not getting any worse either, but they're not getting any better.
Yeah.
I don't think Buffalo's been relevant since that game they played against Philadelphia in the Fog in 1975.
They were good in the 80s, but yeah. But
didn't have a guy named was that guy named Perot that was supposed to be really good for Buffalo back in the day?
Oh yeah. I remember when they had Rob Ray and May. What was his name? The two fighters in the 80s, Ray and May. Rob Ray, I think it was Rob Ray and Brad May. Were those
right?
Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah,
I got a funny story about hockey, and Keith was there. You, me, and Adam went to the hockey. What was it? The hockey draft, the draft thing at the Hartford Civic Center.
The draft in '94. Yeah, when they drafted.
Yeah, we would.
You're in Hartford, yeah.
Yeah, we went to this thing. So Keith and Keith and Adam have this big ledger, and they're going through their the picks and everything like that.
Alert!
So they're going through this ledger. I just have this little notebook. I'm writing down names and everything. And someone walks up to us and says, "Well, what's going on?" I said, "What's the problem?" He said, and Adam and Keith at the same time say, "It's a rarity. This brother knows hockey. Leave him alone." And the person walked away like dumbfounded. And I'm like, "Thanks, bros. I appreciate you."
I forgot that Adam and I did so much research.
Oh my gosh.
In our mock drafts, and we were way off, of course. We didn't get a
Right.
single one.
Edson, it was crazy because they're like this. And they're like, they picked what? He's supposed to be 75th on my line. He's 24th now. What's going on? He's like, you see this big scribble points.
I definitely remember when the Whalers picked Chris Pronger. I like stood up like, "What, are you crazy?"
You are.
It took years for him to get really good, but I was wrong about it.
That was crazy.
You are right about this, though, Keith. Not seeing any of the New York teams and Boston. It's
Detroit,
like, crazy.
Detroit's out.
Crazy to see.
Look at this. Look at all these eliminations. The Flyers, like all these teams that were eliminated.
Detroit, yeah.
Are ESPN's going bashing their head on the table like,
yeah.
We lost Detroit, both New York teams, Pittsburgh, Boston, and Philadelphia. That's just in the Eastern Conference.
And Chicago. And the thing is, I always look at the original six. That's my guide.
Yeah, and in the West, you lost
Chicago
Canucks, America's team, the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, you lost the Blackhawks. They got a bit of a break in the West. They didn't lose too many teams that would affect TV ratings because, I think a lot of people were intrigued by Utah because they just left Phoenix and moved to Utah. But yeah, I'd say it's aside from maybe the Blackhawks and the Predators, I don't think they're that terribly upset. But in the East now, well, let's just go to the bracket.
Did you, Keith, change the subject real quick? Did you have a chance to watch that video thing I told you about? I'm just here for the riot.
I forgot.
You have to watch that.
I will
write that down. You have to watch that. I'm just here for the riot.
I'm just here for the riot.
And by the way, I was looking on Facebook a couple of days ago. They voted the third worst looking uniform was the old Vancouver Canucks back in the Darth Vader the V uniform. Yeah.
So I guess we'll start in the East, which they put on the right-hand side for some reason. You'd think they'd put the West on the right and the East on the left, but they did not. So you got Toronto and Ottawa. This kicks off today, by the way. Tampa Bay and Florida, Battle of Florida, Washington and Canadians, and Carolina and the Devils. So you got a couple of, to me, the one there's two that stand out: Toronto, Ottawa, and Washington, Montreal.
Right.
Right.
Are we gonna do it like individually, or so we can make a predictions and stuff like that? Because I'm down for that.
We could, and we could go over them next show.
Okay.
We could. To be honest, even though I'm a hockey fan, I'm kind of like, these playoffs are lame. In the West, you got Winnipeg, St. Louis, Dallas, Colorado, Vegas and Minnesota, and the Kings in Edmonton. Edmonton is intriguing. Minnesota, I'm going to follow because Marc-Andre Fleury.
That's a good point.
I do like the Stars. I hope they won. I'm sick of the Avalanche. Sick of them. There's a couple teams I'm totally just sick of. The Avalanche and Tampa Bay would be two of them. And Bruce, you must be. You're going to follow the Panthers for your boy Marchand?
No.
Well, there it is. There it is. Meanwhile, NBA finished their season. Oh my God, could this get any smaller? And their playoffs, they sort of started yesterday.
Yeah,
They do
what is
that.
the deal? What's the deal with this play-in game? It's like you lose, but you have to play again.
It's so confusing. Yeah, it's a double elimination, right? Is that how it works?
I have no idea because I'm like, first game I saw, like, well, they have to win. Okay, they lost, but they're going to play another game so
Right.
they can decide.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think they'll have to play each other. I don't know how it works.
neither do I.
Usually,
Edson, how does it work?
I have no idea.
I mean, it looks like you were pondering your answer, so I didn't
I,
throw it back to
I
you.
mean, I was trying to figure it out, but
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
usually I
that's
treat
okay.
this like I treat the NCAA first, that play in.
Oh, I see what you. Yeah.
Ignore it completely until it's set. Yeah, I don't know. This is the participation trophy round. I don't get it. Yeah, it's weird. But once that's decided, because now you have to be determined against, So
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, so we got the Thunder and they did the same thing. They put the East on the right and the West on the left.
Hmm.
This is a new trend, apparently. Maybe it's because they're looking at the map and they figure East over here. What? I don't know.
They got their maps from Christopher Columbus.
Right.
Hmm.
So the Cavs are playing the Heat, 1-8. Pacers, Bucks, Knicks, Pistons, and Celtics and Magic. So we got a couple of intriguing series. I think this is going to come down to, honestly, it's going to be Cleveland against Boston in the East. I
I
agree
agree with. I definitely think Boston will be there.
Yeah, I think Boston.
And on that note, here's a book I just got a couple of days ago
The story of the Celtics
from the writers of the Boston Globe from 1946 to 2025.
Wow. So that means Bob Ryan's in there, right?
Bob Ryan. Yeah.
Dan Shaughnessy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although the Lakers may give him a good
you
running
think
for
we
it.
could possibly see Lakers Celtics in the finals?
Oh, please. I'm so sick of LeBron James. I just want to slap him and slap his kid too.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you.
That has gone way out of control.
Especially the fact that Bronny probably doesn't belong in the league.
Well, yeah, that's.
Yeah. I think most people would agree with that. So Thunder, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Clippers. That's an interesting series.
Yeah.
Lakers, Wolves, and Rockets, Warriors. I mean, there's going to be upsets somewhere along the line. I don't know where I would. I don't. Maybe.
I mean, maybe the Knicks might lose.
That'll be a hell of a series. That'll be a hell of a series.
If it's Knicks
and Pistons. I mean,
yeah, I think that's a very even. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued by the Nuggets Clippers series myself. I'd love.
That's a good point too.
I'd love to see Minnesota take the Lakers out, but they're not going to.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something a couple of days ago, and the Clippers beat somebody, and they had this player for the Clippers, like he came out of the booth, and no one's seen him for like 6 or 7 years. They said, yeah, they were led by Kawhi Leonard with 31 points. I'm like, when did Kawhi come back?
Right. So noticeably absent are the Dallas Mavericks after they made that. This is right up there with like Herschel Walker trade and giving.
Still trying to figure that out.
I don't understand that at all. Yeah. That's so. I guess we'll have to do these brackets too. We'll have to pick these and revisit it. But going out on a limb, I think my Eastern Conference Finals will be Cavs, Celtics, and in the West, I mean, Oklahoma City is probably by far the best team.
They're surprisingly good. They really, really are.
I'm going to take a flyer on the Nuggets to get to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, I think they still have enough of their core left. They're not a true number 4. I think that they struggled this year, but they're They won the championship 2 years ago. I think they still have enough to get to the conference finals. Not the finals, but the conference finals. But, we'll see.
I think I made my picks. I'll send if I have them on my phone. I'll send them to you. I think I made my picks for the NBA.
Okay. I have done neither, so I will do that today.
Yeah, me neither. I will have to do it today.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's on here. But yeah, I think I picked Oklahoma City. I didn't know was that good until I looked at their record, and I'm like, they're like 68-14.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they even lose more than 10 games?
So they were unbelievable. It'll probably end up them against Boston. So
that's exactly where I was leaning towards, but I thought unfortunately, I mean, not that I'm a Lakers fan, but I thought they would at least get to where they play the Thunder, but I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, for the Lakers to end up a 3 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, if before that trade, they'd probably be a 6, 7, or even not even in. So who knows? But I'm sure everybody was glued to this last weekend.
I didn't even watch it.
Me either.
I don't have a lot of golf.
Yeah.
Insight.
I just thought I'd bring it up because
that's his first one, right?
Yeah, and he almost choked it away. Apparently,
yeah.
It went to I heard he double bogeyed the first hole that day, and then he missed a 6-foot putt on the 18th, which forced the 1-hole playoff.
Wow!
And then he won. So yeah, but I heard something not flattering about this guy this week from someone who, when he was here a couple of years ago and for the Travelers Championship in Hartford, he was horrible to some children. So,
oh wow,
leave it at that. So,
oh come on.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So let's see. Any big sports news? Check the breaking news. Oops. Gotta blow this up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's been a surprisingly lack of news on the NFL draft because I guess because there's not a big quarterback thing, so now all of a sudden no one cares or something like that. I was like,
yeah. We didn't talk any NFL. My big NFL story is that Aaron Rodgers is just the biggest.
Oh my gosh!
Oh please, just make a freaking decision.
I know.
Please
retire already. Just
go away. That's my decision. Go away. And the Steelers are fools for almost daily. I don't care.
First it was the Giants carrying him around. Now the Steelers, and they're both at the same. Oh.
I don't care. And he went on McAfee and he's like, well, I have things going on in my personal life. I can't commit to anything right now. Shut the hell. Just go away. Nobody gives a crap, dude.
That's bull. If the actual team that he wanted did, then he would immediately and it was
he would have made a decision already.
He wanted to go to the Vikings because they were the ones that were closest to where you could make a run. That's the point.
That's it. That's it. Let's translate with the BS filter. The translation of what he said is, yeah, the only teams who want me, I want nothing to do with.
Right. Exactly.
That's the translation. Yeah.
He's still hoping a team that he wants will come in and offer him something.
Yep. I think he's hoping on draft day that Minnesota makes a trade or something and they want him in. Who the hell would want this guy? I mean, just watch what he did to the Jets the last 2 years. Just come on, just go away. And I know.
Okay, I have a crazy question. I have a crazy scenario for you guys. He'll make a decision. Now, would it be ironic that he makes the decision on draft day in Green Bay?
People were saying that.
Well, that would be like him. Yeah.
People are theorizing that he's going to walk out and announce the pick for the Steelers.
Oh my gosh!
In Green Bay? Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would the NFL
make him? Which would mean he signed a deal. Yeah. Now, apparently, the Steelers have had a deal on the table for him for over a month now.
Yep.
Like the terms are laid out. All he has to do is accept them, and he hasn't.
And before that, the Giants really, really put out a lot to take him too, and he kind of refused them. So then they wound up signing these 2 other guys.
Yeah, I mean the Giants quarterback room is now Russell Wilson,
So-
Jameis Winston,
And DeVito, or
and
is that
Tommy
his name?
DeVito. Yeah.
Man, that would be a hell of a buffet.
That organization is just desperate.
It will.
The Giants or the
Isn't
Giants
Jameis a
organization.
chef?
The Giants organization is just desperate to be relevant again. They're not used to being like the bottom of the thing, so they will do anything to get back to
Not
the
only
football.
that, I think this is it for. I'm drawing a blank on his name now.
Dable, yeah, and I
Brian
forgot the general manager, but both.
I was going to say Canellis. It's Brian Dable. Like he has to. I think they at least got to be somewhere around 500 this year. They've got to be, like 8-9, 9-8, maybe even 7-10 to get another year out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think anything less, and they're all gone, all of them. The GM.
And I think that because despite what they did with these two other quarterbacks, I think there's a good chance they'll pick a quarterback like Sanders because it's like it brings attention to that, and brings more crowd into the stadium and things like that. But just I know it doesn't make sense. You just signed two quarterbacks, and why would you want to pick another one? But it's the type of thing that would bring more relevance to them, I guess.
Well, they signed those two quarterbacks to 1-year deals. So,
yeah. So it's
they're
not a big deal. Yeah.
They're not They're not part of the future plan.
And very, very low
salary.
Salary.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah. No, I can see that. The big talk in Pittsburgh now is that they're going to get Shedeur Sanders.
If it obviously, I mean, if he goes really that low, then yeah, they will. But there's quite a few teams.
He's
think
not going that low. He's not. There's no
I
way.
mean, the Saints really need somebody now.
He's gone in the top 10. There's
I mean,
no way.
Even the Jets. I mean, they got Fields, but do they really have their future quarterback? I mean, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Saints are in bad shape with that too, and
Yeah,
even the Raiders. I mean,
the Raiders. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
You got Geno, but Geno's 30. What is he? 34, 35.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, it's a marriage made in heaven because Geno and Pete Carroll are just always going to be together.
Yeah.
Which again shows the buffoonery in Pittsburgh that they let Russell Wilson walk away, and now they're being held hostage and extorted by Aaron Rodgers.
Crazy.
When they brought in DK Metcalf, who Wilson spent 10 years throwing the ball to, like what
the heck? I know.
Well, not 10 years, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
they have a familiarity. Like, why would you, if you're going to get a has-been another 1-year patch, keep the guy you had? But apparently Russell Wilson hates Artie Smith, the offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Most Artie Smith won't let Wilson audible, which has been the problem in Pittsburgh forever. They wouldn't let Roethlisberger audible, and Roethlisberger in the fourth quarter a lot was like, "Fight it, we have to win," and Roethlisberger take over the game, and cover his incompetent coach's ass. So, yeah. To me, I'm a Steelers fan, but I'm enjoying this because I want some change around there.
Yeah, okay.
And if this whole house of cards falls down, we'll get the change. Because the way it's going is mired in mediocrity, right, Bruce?
That's it. That's the line.
Yeah, both Pittsburgh and the New York Giants are just stepping on a rake lately, and
they are
stepping on I haven't heard that in a while. Good job, Edson.
not that I have much to say because the organization that my team is even probably the worst of the league. So
you just gave away. You just lost Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. And Tyreek Hill is gone. He's going to be gone.
Yeah. Ramsey wants to trade out. And, yeah. Crazy.
Speaking of things that are mired in mediocrity, if you look on your phones, my friend Mike just went by RFK a couple of days ago, and I sent you a picture.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
That's still there.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Funny. That's funny.
That is horrible. It's like rotting and falling apart.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Damn.
Yeah, he had to do some business down there, and I'm like, "Could you send me some pictures?" He said, "Yeah, I'll send you." He sent me some. He put some pictures up, and I'm like, "I got to send it to my boys." But
wow, that is wonderful.
Now they're talking about, yeah, we're gonna do something now. I'm like, you've been talking about this forever, right?
So, are we gonna do this? This is Thursday night.
Yep. Thursday.
Do we want to watch this live and stream at the same time?
Oh, I can't because I got commitments on Thursday night.
I mean, if it's a good night for me, I'll do it. But I can't know for sure until then.
We'll play it by
I'll
ear.
definitely can't. Would want to.
I was thinking of inviting the you know how they have these analytics guys in these teams now. They're like these guys right out of school, and they're like seriously.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to invite Derek Mellinson, my buddy Doug's.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's young. He's right out of college, but I've never seen a guy who can rattle off stats for any player in the league like Derek right off the top of his head.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What time does the draft start? 8 o'clock?
I don't know.
I don't even remember.
Let's
and
see.
I know there's going to be a big ceremony at the beginning, so it's not going to really start at 8, is it?
Right. In the first pick, he's like, by the time they start the clock, you're right. It's like a half hour later.
Okay, because I can jump on around 9 o'clock then.
8 o'clock. Yeah. So
okay, I can jump on around 9 o'clock then.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
They'll be on like the third pick at 9 o'clock.
I mean, the first round you do get quite a lot of time in between, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like so the show starts at 8. They won't start the first pick till about 8:30. And then you're talking 10 minutes for each one. So yeah, they'll be on picks 3 or 4 by the time, that's
I can jump on as soon as my class ends. Yeah, I'll be there.
So it should be interesting, and we'll all pretend like we're draft experts when we know nothing. I think
the tonic that's worked this out for the last a year and a half. I mean, pretend like we know something, but we absolutely know nothing.
Yeah, I'll pretend I know what I'm talking about after watching 3 college football games. Like, yeah.
The only one I'm like 99% sure is the first. Tennessee picking can't work because that's their first need, their absolute need. But after that, who the heck knows?
I don't know, but I would take Travis Hunter next. I mean,
and that is the consensus.
I've heard nothing but great stuff about him. Nothing but great stuff.
Consensus that Cleveland would take him. Yep. Even though they're desperate for a quarterback too. But,
he's a Swiss Army knife, and he's apparently like a really solid human being.
Right. He's practically bionic. That's what they're saying. He's like he can play all day long.
Yeah. So
I think Keith, maybe you were talking about maybe his personality, which I hope it is grounded, because a player like that who can play both sides can get problematic really fast if he's not like.
Well, I'm not saying that success might not change him, but from what I've heard, and they're saying Deion Sanders doesn't take any, like, he doesn't let people slide on the character thing. Like, Deion's a hardworking guy. He's about doing the right thing. And
yep.
The people that all I've heard is that Travis Hunter's not only a phenomenal player, but he's a phenomenal kid.
That's good.
So
excellent.
But it should be interesting. Usually draft day, I'm just there for the trades.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
I might get a T-shirt that says "I'm just here for the trades."
That would be a great.
I love trades. Like a couple years ago, you had the AJ Brown trade, which was so dumb. It was astonishing because look what happened since they traded AJ Brown to the Eagles.
Yep.
The Eagles went to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them.
Yep.
With AJ Brown, and Tennessee's picking first this year because they're the worst team.
At the bottom of the.
That worked out well. That worked, and they fired Vrabel as a consequence of that.
That was another mistake.
And apparently, on draft night, Vrabel was protesting the trade. He didn't want them to do it.
Unbelievable. They make him the fall guy.
Fall for that, right?
Yeah,
and now, thanks to that stupid trade, now he's with the Patriots, and watch, they're going to be freaking awesome again. Thank you, Tennessee.
I think they will. I think Carter might fall to them, and if he does, then he's gonna
look at the collateral damage the AJ Brown trade caused.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right. Talk about the butterfly effect. Holy moly. That's what's funny about when you look at things like that. The progression of things. And look at what then you have the Deshaun Watson one.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Look at Houston immediately becomes a playoff team, and Cleveland's the armpit of the league again.
But
it's
I have one for you. Now, your honest gut reaction when you first saw it happen. Who do you think was the best player in the draft? Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning?
Oh, see, this is why you should not listen to me on draft day. I thought Ryan Leaf was superior.
So did I. So did I.
Yeah.
So did I. I thought he was like Mr. Everything. But boy,
But
were we wrong.
they don't have the Cabeza right.
That's
They're
Yeah.
right. The
that's the
Cabeza.
problem. That doesn't.
It doesn't matter how
Physical
much.
isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruce, I mean, Deshaun Watson still getting paid.
I'm getting paid.
If you haven't seen it, I recommend. I should put it in the. I'll find it and put it in the chat real quick. Brandon Perna's latest video. He's like the 10 trades or something like that in the last 20 years, the 10 worst trades in the last 20 years. And holy mackerel, that was the top one of shock of all shocks. But it's really interesting because he does talk about with each one, the residual effects, as it spread, what happened as a result, not just to the two teams involved, but potentially other teams around them. Yeah, they're going to be paying Watson until 2029 because they've stretched his contract out.
Oh yeah,
to try to get under the cap because he's such a huge cap hit. Yeah, here it is. Disastrous trades that set back NFL teams. I'm going to put it in the chat for our viewers.
That whole thing, I didn't even realize the ramifications of what happened, but I just hated that for Cleveland because Baker Mayfield just left everything on the field for them for like years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
like,
he did.
How do you just turn your back on it? And it's like, come on.
I know. And it serves him right because he's thrown for almost 9,000 yards in 2 seasons with Tampa.
Yeah.
And that's one, and this kills me with Pittsburgh. I think I've said it on this show before. They've been struggling to find a quarterback since Ben retired. And he was a free agent 3 years ago. He was right there for the take.
Oh my gosh, that's right. They could have.
I was screaming from the weeds, take Baker Mayfield.
Actually, since they play him so often, they would know how good he is.
Not only that, they'd play the Browns twice a year, and he'd want to shove it right back up there.
Yeah. That would be his revenge tour.
Well, I don't think I still can't forgive. I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh fan in a way also. Didn't Pittsburgh have a chance to draft Dan Marino?
Yes.
And he wanted to go to Pittsburgh?
Oh, you got to throw that out there. Talk about needling him.
He wanted to go to Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, he was out of Pittsburgh, the college.
Yeah, he played at Pitt. The thinking at the time with Chuck Noll was he built the first dynasty from Joe Green out.
Right.
So he drafted Senior Sack. I'm blanking on the name right now. Oh my God, I know this guy's name. And I just
Mark Malone? Not Mark Malone.
No. He drafted a defensive tackle.
Right.
His nickname was Senior Sack. I can't think of the guy's name right now.
Senior Sack.
Senior Sack. He was phenomenal, but he got in a car accident and was paralyzed in the offseason. So he never played.
Wow.
That's why they passed on Marino for that, because Chuck Noll was thinking, I'm going to start over just like I did with Mean Joe Green. I'm going to start with another big and build the defense and build from there. And it didn't work out.
And that's not a bad philosophy if it works out. But to be fair to Pittsburgh, a lot of teams passed on him. He was like way at the end of the first
26th,
round.
right? He went.
And I know he had some kind of issues, off the field issues that people thought of. But
Gabe Rivera was the guy's name.
Oh, okay. And he never played. That's such a shame.
Yeah, out of Texas Tech, defensive tackle. They picked him 21st overall. They passed on Marino, who went 27th to Miami.
Yep.
And there was rumors at the time that he had a cocaine problem, Dan Marino.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was it.
I remember that. Yes.
That's why he dropped. And
Yep.
he blow this up.
Well, maybe Shedeur Sanders will drop and Pittsburgh can make that up.
I think here's my theory. There's one of two trades that could potentially happen to move up and get him. The Steelers would trade TJ Watt.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that would be crazy.
Well, he's up for a new contract, and they haven't put anything on the table yet.
Oh, okay.
Last week on Instagram, he put us just a picture with no words of him doing the peace out sign.
Wow.
Oh.
He's 31. if you're going to dump him for talent, now's the time.
Mm.
That, or they're going to trade Pickens.
Oh, okay.
If they trade George Pickens, they can move up in the draft for him too. He's also in the final year of a contract, and he's a pain in the ass. And we have DK Metcalf now.
Right.
He's expendable in a way.
But
So,
DK Metcalf and Pickens are the same type of receiver, so
correct.
it's not like so you can get rid of one of them.
Yeah, but if they keep him, then they have a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins situation.
Right.
With nobody to throw him the ball.
They don't really have anybody like that goes across the middle. They're both kind of like long ball guys. And I think that's the only way Pittsburgh's going to get him is to try to move up a little bit, because if they wait if he starts dropping and that Pittsburgh's just waiting for him, I think a team will jump in front and get him.
I agree.
With a trade of their own. So
yeah, there's no way Sanders is going to 20 on the 21st. The Steelers will have to move up to get him if they really want him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I think part of the thinking there too is if they bring in Shedeur Sanders, that's putting Mike Tomlin on notice.
That's a good point.
It's like you get us back to a championship, or we're going to hire Shedeur's dad.
Oh, good point.
I'd love to be on coaching the Steelers. That would be awesome.
That would be great too. But the thing is, it could be out of their hands anyways, because the Giants, I'm forgetting the Giants owner, but
Wellington Mara.
He has a directive towards his team that they have to draft a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be Sanders, but they have to draft a quarterback.
Well, there's only 2 good quarterbacks in the
draft. I understand. I mean, I know there's others coming like Dart and I forgot the other guy's name, but
I see this as the year Pickett got drafted, where they're trying to inflate guys who are really not.
I get it. Yep. Yeah, it is a bad. I mean, I heard this. I don't want to misquote someone, but I forgot who it was. This one of these draft guys that have been covering the draft for like 20 or 30 years. He was asked how many quarterbacks from this draft will be starting not this season but the following season. And he said none.
Oh wow!
I disagree with him, because I think Tennessee will have to
Cam Ward has to start.
But he actually doesn't think any of these guys are starters like in the near future. But
I agree. This reminds me of the year the Steelers stretched out and took Kenny Pickett, and in that draft you had Kenny Pickett. You had who's the guy that went to Atlanta? Drawing blanks.
Pickens. I'm not Pickens.
I know.
Big dude, left-handed. I can't think.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Anyway, it was a weak draft.
Penix?
No,
not Penix.
Oh shit!
I think you're. Wait a minute. I think he's right.
Sorry, I have no idea what the heck is.
Hang on.
Yeah, because they had Kirk Cousins, and it was like a shocker that they picked him.
No, that was last year.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
I
was thinking of actually last year, so sorry. Yeah.
It's 2022 draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a stretch. Quarterbacks. Oh, what the hell? Where's the order? By position, 9 quarterbacks. Where's the?
I know the draft order from one.
Where's the draft order? Oh, here it is. All right. Yeah, so let's go down. Where's Pittsburgh? Kenny Pickett.
I've forgotten it was already.
God, I'm just drawing blanks all over the place. This is the problem with morning.
Yeah,
my brain's half.
There's a problem with lack of sleep too.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is everybody took a flyer on quarterback, and none of them panned out really.
Yeah.
I mean, so real quick, back to that 83 draft where Marino went 27th. Look who went 28th. Another Hall of Famer, Darryl Green.
Wow.
That's weird though. 28th. And he wore number 28.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a coincidence.
That's probably why.
Yeah, he probably was. That was like a way to say
this draft had several Hall of Famers: John Elway, Eric Dickerson, Jim Covert, Bruce Matthews, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino.
What a loaded draft that was.
Yeah, and then you had like Roger Craig in there. Some guys who are like Dave Duerson. This was a good draft overall. Leonard Marshall's in there, Henry Ellard, Ken O'Brien, Gary Anderson, Joey Browner. That was a good draft.
Damn.
Yeah.
Warner, yeah.
And you never really know.
Blackledge. But yeah, so you never know. I mean, look at Brock Purdy was the last pick overall in the same draft as Kenny Pickett. So in the draft with Kenny Pickett, where they overinflated the value of every other quarterback in the draft, the guy who went last, forgotten about, ended up pretty damn good, right? So it's a slot machine. It's really a slot machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll laugh though if Cam Ward gets drafted by the Titans and he pulls an Elway.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I'm not going there.
I'm not going to wear this jersey.
And
I ain't going to wear this jersey.
And the Giants benefit from that again?
Like you did with Eli Manning?
Wow.
Yeah, oh my God. That was a funny
That would be
time.
the best thing that could ever happen.
Now that one though was different than the Elway one.
I know.
The Elway one, he just said forget it. That Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers thing was kind of preordained.
Yeah.
Like they knew that was going to happen. They did it anyway, which is weird. Why would you draft the guy that doesn't want to play for you and then make a trade?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. I don't know. But yeah, if we can throw something together Thursday, I'll invite Derek.
Okay.
Because he will know about these guys. He'll be able
They
to
like honey nut cereal, and
truth told, I've watched the draft with Derek for about 5 years now. And during COVID, we even Zoomed together to watch it because we couldn't, leave the house. And he knows these players really well. So
Cool.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get him. So maybe Doug will come with him. So, and Doug will add to the gallery of people who know nothing. We know our NFL, but it's not that we know nothing. We know the NFL. We're not
the players coming in. Once you're there, we're good.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, once the lights come on, we're good.
Exactly. All right, that's it. You got anything else?
Yeah, that's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. Let's maybe we'll see you Thursday night, gang. If not, we'll catch you the next time around. Remember to like, share, and please subscribe. Yeah, we have 92% of our audience that watches these videos are not subscribers. Like that's crazy. If you're watching, just push the.
Yeah, come on.
We won't bother you.
We won't bother you that much.
Yeah.
Right. We might hack your bank account, but other than that,
yeah, really.
It's not
like
it's not like we share your emails with other all those other crappy companies.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Hey.
Yeah. We just
I mean, don't judge us because tonight is the night of WrestleMania 1 and 2, which I'm going to watch. So I'll do a report about that next week.
Good.
I bet people would be into that. I don't watch it, but yeah, if you want to talk about it, bring it up.
Yeah,
for sure. That's
okay. I will.
That's why this is sports chat. It's casual.
It's casual.
Yeah. All right. If that's it for you guys, that's it for me.
Y'all take care of yourselves.
Happy draft.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Yes. Or whatever holiday you do celebrate. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, I think no. Yes, the joyfulness is over. The joyfulness is over.
Thanks for watching GeekTime TV. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure to check the little bell icon anytime someone from our network drops new content here. Want some GeekTime swag? Check out the merchandise available in the GeekTime TV store, linked in the channel description below. Share GeekTime TV with friends, and as always, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.